Hello and welcome to Manga 96, and today we're going to talk about Arifureta Shokugyou de Sekai Saikyou. Today's topic will be the families that raised Hajime, Kaori and Shizuko. Each family has its unique features to them which heavily influence the aforementioned trio, with all three families bonding throughout the marriages of their kids. I'm of course talking about the Nagumo, Shirasaki and Yaegashi families. But before we start, here's the spoiler warning, as I'll be spoiling a lot of things in this video, so if you don't want to be spoiled, I would highly recommend that you go and read the light novel, as it is an enjoyable read. For everyone else, let's start with Shu. Shu Nagumo is Hajime's father. He is a loving father and husband that possesses many otaku habits. He has a tendency to go overboard occasionally, which has resulted in him getting into trouble with his friends and co-workers. As for his past, Shu was born when his parents were at the later stages in their lives. When he was in college, he disguised himself as a shrine priest during the New Year's holidays. He was later reprimanded by the real shrine priest along with a high school student named Sumire, who had also disguised herself as a shrine maiden on her own. The two of them initially thought they would be in trouble for posing as shrine workers, but the disguises were so perfect the real priests thought that they were actual employees and were disciplining them due to thinking that they were slacking off on their duties. Shu then valiantly claimed that he wasn't a shrine employee and lied that the shrine clothes was his regular attire. It was then that Sumire fell in love with Shu, which prompted the two of them to start dating and eventually marry each other. At some point they had their first and only child, Hajime. In addition, Shu would eventually become the president of a famous game company to which Hajime occasionally helped him with his work. When Hajime and his entire class disappeared without a trace during his second year of high school, Shu, Sumire as well as the other parents of the students did everything they could to find them, but to no avail. Eventually, many of the parents gave up on searching for them, but Shu and Sumire kept on searching for their son without rest, much to the concern of their friends, and used whatever means they could, even joining online web boards that talk about other missing children that disappeared under mysterious circumstances. 1 year after he disappeared, Hajime suddenly returned home in the middle of the night. After a very emotional reunion with his parents, Hajime spent the entire night telling them about his adventures in another world. Afterwards, he wondered if his parents would still love him after revealing that he killed other people during his adventure. But Shu and Sumire assured him that they would always love him. Hajime then followed up by having his wives Yue, Shia, Tio and Remia, as well as Remia's daughter Miu, spontaneously appear in front of them, much to his parents' shock. After learning the true nature of the relationship between them and Hajime, his parents became hysterical, but soon calmed down when Miu expressed her concern that they did not like her based on how they were acting, to which they suddenly became more courteous and expressed their joy at her and others becoming important people in their son's life, and welcomed them to their family. They spent the rest of the night seeing records of Hajime's otherworldly adventures. Moving on to Sumire. Sumire Nagumo is Hajime's mother. Sumire is a loving mother and wife that possesses many otaku habits. She is very cunning and can be deceptive to the point that she tricks her own family into involuntarily providing her with ideas for her new stories through their antics that she sets up. She is also very charismatic and uses it for similar means. In addition, Sumire is also a famous shoujo mangaka, to which Hajime occasionally helps her with her work. As for their relationship with Hajime, as their only son, Shu and Sumire held immense love for Hajime, which she also reciprocated, having inherited their otaku passion and interest, earnestly assisting them in their work. When Hajime suffered from bullying, Shu and Sumire allowed Hajime to make his own choice if he wished to transfer to another school to avoid bullying or stay on. Hajime would frequently discuss with his parents about their otaku interest, including what would happen if he were to be summoned to another world, which ironically came true when Hajime was summoned by Echt to Tortoise. When he fell into the depths of the Great Orcus Labyrinth and lost his left arm and later his right eye, it was ultimately his desire to reunite with his parents again that gave him the resolve and willpower to fight and conquer the dangers of the Great Orcus Labyrinth, doing everything in his abilities to become strong enough to survive and getting back home, doing so with immense conviction even if it meant becoming a genocidal mass murderer or even a god-slaying destroyer. As Shizuku had correctly predicted in Volume 8, Hajime actually slayed Echt while in his journey to return home back to his parents. After returning to Japan, Hajime asked Shu and Sumire if they would accept him even if he had killed other people. But the two of them assured Hajime they would always love him and accept him with open arms and with great joy that his son had finally come back. However, they were hysterical, shocked and impressed that Hajime got a harem. Moving on to the Shirasakis. Tomoichi Shirasaki is Kaori's father. He acts as a typical loving husband and father. He treasures his family very much and will do whatever he can to make them happy. He can, however, be overbearing to the point that he puts them at odds with them, particularly Kaori. He is also a super protective father with Kaori, not allowing her to date any boys. This can be seen more often when he does not approve of Kaori's relationship with Hajime and does his best to separate them. As an architect, Tomoichi will become very engrossed when coming across building designs that he considers fascinating, such as Oscar Orko's mansion. During his college days, Tomoichi was quite a ladies' man and had been in a relationship with several women before his now wife Kaoruko managed to get him to settle down with her. As for his relationship with Kaori, Tomoichi loves his daughter very much and treats her as the most important person in the world, often calling her his angel. Kaori also loves her father much, however, she is often irritated with him due to his hostility behavior towards Hajime. As for his relationship with Hajime, Tomoichi's relationship with Hajime is complicated. At first, he is grateful to Hajime for having rescued his daughter during their time in Tortos and bringing her home, as well as the rest of their classmates. But he is opposed to the two of them being in a relationship due to his overprotective nature for his daughter. As well, the fact that Hajime is already in a relationship with 7 other women. Upon first learning about the extent of their relationship, including that Hajime and Kaori had already had sex, Tomoichi was so angry that he was about to punch him before Kaori stopped him. Since then, he had done everything he could to break them apart, but Hajime does not mind Tomoichi's harsh treatment to him due to having his own daughter Miu to think of, and considers him a part of his family. When Tomoichi accompanied Hajime and his family to Tortos during their winter holiday, he gained a greater understanding of him after learning what he and Kaori experienced during their first journey there, and has changed his mindset from breaking them up to rehabilitating Hajime in order to make him more of a regular person in society. As for his relationship with Shu, Tomoichi's relationship with Shu is similar to Kaori's relationship with Yue. They constantly get into confrontation with each other that stems from Tomoichi being annoyed with Shu's eccentric personality, as well as the fact that he is jealous that Kaori treats Shu with more respect than him. Tomoichi also believes Shu's parenting methods are what led to Hajime becoming what he is today. Moving on to Kaoruko. Kaoruko Shirasaki is Kaori's mother. She mostly acts very ladylike according to her appearance, giving a pure, neat and clean atmosphere around her and treasures her loved ones. However, on the inside she is rather possessive, similar to a yandere, particularly towards her husband Tomoichi. This makes her an extra chilling presence whenever he acts out too much. As for her relationship with Kaori, Kaoruko loves her daughter very much and treats her as the most important person in the world. Kaori loves her parents very much, but she is antagonistic towards her father at times due to his hostile attitude towards Hajime, while her mother is more supportive of her relationship with Hajime. Moving on to the Yaegashis. Shuzo Yaegashi is Shizuku's parental grandfather. Shuzo is a serious and soft-spoken. He rarely displays his emotions. His many years of training has greatly turned his instinct and can immediately sense when something is wrong. He is very interested in learning about new combat techniques and weapons. And keeping up with the tradition of his family's Kenjutsu training style, Shuzo wants to keep a low profile in public and does not wish to stand out. The secretive combat technique that caused many to accuse him of actually being a ninja, although he categorically denies it. As for his relationship with Shizuko loves her grandfather and trains under him in order to make him happy after seeing him smile during the first time she used a wooden sword. Shuzo feels guilty for not allowing Shizuko to express her true nature during her childhood. Moving on to Kirino. Kirino Yaegashi is Shizuko's mother. During Kirino's youth, she was a disciple of the Yaegashi dojo. When she was a teenager, she and the dojo's head instructor Shuzo helped out another disciple Miya when she had gotten herself into trouble. At some point, Kirino married Shuzo's son Koichi, and later gave birth to her daughter Shizuko Yaegashi. When Shizuko and the rest of her classmates mysteriously disappeared during the second year of high school, all of the parents looked for them, but eventually they gave up, with the exception of Shu and Sumire Nagumo. 1 year later, Shizuko and the rest of her class reappeared and had told their parents about their adventures in another world, as well as Shizuko revealing that she was now in a relationship with her classmate Hajime Nagumo. One day, when Hajime was visiting Shizuko at her home, after enduring various sneak attacks from members of the Yaegashi dojo, Kirino approached him through a secret passage in the ceiling of her daughter's bedroom and presented him with some tea and snacks during his visit. Shizuko asked her mother if she was a ninja after witnessing what her family and disciples of the dojo were doing to Hajime, but Kirino casually brushed off her accusation and jumped back up to the hidden passageway. As Shizuko and Hajime were enjoying their time together, Hajime revealed that Kirino laced his snacks with a drug that caused paralysis, as he was immune to thanks to his paralysis resistance skill, which immediately prompted Shizuko to confront her family for their treatment of Hajime. After her relationship with Shizuko lost her mother very much. Likewise, Kirino, she also lost her daughter very much, but Shizuko gets annoyed with her because of the attempt to try to separate her and Hajime, like when Kirino tried to poison him. With this, I covered everything that I wanted to cover on the Nagumo family, Shirasaki family and Yaegashi family. And that'll be all for this video. If you like this video, leave a like, leave your thoughts in the comments below, or subscribe to the channel for more manga reviews and One Piece content. And until next time, take care.